Alicia Powe in Washington for TvAbraham. This week on Inside the Capitol, I press U.S. senators on the escalating Iran crisis as President Trump meets Xi Jinping in Beijing. With Tehran executing an alleged CIA-Mossad spy and refusing to fully surrender its highly enriched uranium stockpile, the questions are urgent. Is military force still on the table? How should America respond to Iran's provocations, and should we make deals with China for helping contain Tehran's nuclear ambitions? Here's what senators told us.
We had a JCPOA that stopped Iran's nuclear program. Trump tore it up. And then he goes to war. It is an illegal war. That's what I have to say. He should end the war.
Do you support military strikes if Iran refuses to surrender its highly enriched uranium stockpile?
I have confidence that President Trump will do whatever is necessary to enforce the red lines he's drawn. That zero enrichment, that Iran must hand over all of its enriched uranium, that Iran must stop funding terrorism, and the Strait of Hormuz needs to be opened. And I believe the president means it when he says that, and he'll do everything necessary to enforce that.
Iran just executed a man accused of spying for the CIA and Mossad. How should the U.S. respond?
Well, I think the president is responding vigorously, and the reason we're in this military conflict is because Iran has been waging war against the United States for 47 years. The Iranian regime has murdered nearly 1,000 Americans, and President Trump is acting as a strong commander-in-chief to defend the safety and security of the United States. Conservatives are united. Polling shows 90% or more Republicans support President Trump in standing up to Iran and defending us. It's a handful of woke right commentators, people like Tucker Carlson, who at this point have become indistinguishable from Ilhan Omar. They attack President Trump every day. They attack Israel every day. They're obsessed with Israel, and they defend Islamists, they defend Iran, they defend Sharia law. That is a position that finds itself very much at home in the left wing of the Democrat Party, but there's nothing remotely conservative about it.
Senator, Iran just executed a man accused of spying for the CIA and Mossad. How should the U.S. respond?
Iran abuses its population in so many different ways, that's not a reason that the U.S. should be sending our own troops to die in the war against them. But we have that. I've always supported a robust package of sanctions against Iran, whether it's for missile activity or human rights violations. And I think that's the much better path. We should use those and get other nations to join us in those sanctions, but not disrupt the global economy and send our own troops to be killed or injured.
It seems like to me that the president has buried their uranium stockpiles under like 1,000 feet of rubble. I think they'll be there forever. So I credit him with that.
People are freaked out about the cost of this. I mean, the price of gas has gone way up. Fertilizer has gone way up. It's costing food. There's no end in sight. There's also been just across the board people struggling to pay their bills, and they can't for the life of them figure out what in the world are we doing spending. It's really about $2 billion a day on this war, where the result of it is that we've closed the Strait of Hormuz. So people do not like this war, and they're feeling the effects of it in their pocketbook. We should have the oil companies be paying, in effect, replenishing the gas tax fund. They're making $30 million an hour in excess profits since the war started. So if the president's serious, go to the oil companies, have them pay. This would have to be a legislative fix. The president can't do this unilaterally.
Support military strikes if Iran refuses to surrender its highly enriched uranium stockpile.
I don't think it's quite that simple. I think it's looking at an issue in a silo. I'm very convinced that we cannot allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. And how we get there, there's a lot of different ways. So I think most importantly is we cannot let Iran have nuclear weapons. And we'll see how we get there.
Iran just executed a man accused of spying for the CIA and Mossad. How should the U.S. respond?
Again, I think we just want more facts surrounding the situation. I don't know, was this person an American citizen or not?
Iranian aerospace engineer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to check the details first. We need to measure twice and cut once.
If Iran refuses to surrender its highly enriched uranium stockpile, how should the administration respond?
They didn't have highly enriched uranium until Donald Trump's first term when he ripped up the JCPOA. Donald Trump caused this problem and then caused a multi-billion-dollar war to try to solve the problem that he caused. So this is the insanity of a president who has caused the biggest gas shock in history, bigger than the 1970s. He has caused this problem by dragging this country into this war in Iran that has made the situation worse. Americans have to ask themselves, am I better off over these last year and a half, 2 years than I was before? No, you're not. In interest rates, we just see spike today, as was reported. Your gas prices through the roof. Consumer goods that you need for your family, way, way up. Where are your tax dollars going? To a ballroom, $29 billion for overseas and not at home. If the president really is concerned, he shouldn't be pitching things that's really robbing Peter to pay Paul. Because remember, the gas tax comes out of our transportation trust fund that has a big debt. It should be repairing our roads and bridges. Donald Trump needs to solve this problem and end the oil shock that he caused. What they should be doing is what the people wanted Donald Trump to do, which was to lower their costs and stay out of wars in the Middle East. He has done the exact opposite, made Americans less safe, but made Americans pay much more money, not just for gas. It's hurting our farmers with fertilizers. It's hurting moms with buying food for their kids. We are in a crisis right now, and all Donald Trump seems to want to talk about is his ballroom.
Do we offer China trade deals in exchange for helping stop Iran's nuclear program?
Well, let me tell you, here's how I feel about the whole Iran war. I think we made this decision to go, and I was really supportive of that and still am, because I really believe with Iran with a nuclear weapon, and they can get there, guys, they can really get there. And does anybody believe that if they had a nuclear weapon that they may not use it? And really and truly, we can't take that risk. No, we can't. And the president, in my opinion, was very, very bold to be able to take the steps of doing what he's doing. Now, I believe this, we got to win. And the only way to win is solve the nuclear issue, period. I mean, we've got to win. And so with all that being said, that's my position wholeheartedly on the war.
Would you support military strikes in Iran if Iran refuses to surrender its highly enriched uranium stockpile?
Look, I really believe at the end of the day, when we decided to go, we have to win. And really and truly, the win to me is we have got to absolutely stop this possibility of them ending up with a nuclear weapon.
Should we offer China trade deals in exchange for helping stop Iran's nuclear program?
I'm going to leave that up to the president to set the agenda. We need to get trade normalized with China, and we need to actually have China not help Iran, which is what they're doing right now. So it'd be really swell if they would get on board.
From military options to diplomatic horse trading with Beijing, Congress is watching closely. The administration wants verifiable surrender of Iran's stockpile. Lawmakers are split on how far to go, but few believe the regime can be trusted without maximum pressure. I'm Alicia Powe, reporting from Washington inside the Capitol. We'll be back with more next week.